Rev up your engines!
Now, I can't resist this. Jeep is recalling a bunch of Gladiators for transmissions that might blow up. You think they can make transmissions that don't blow up and then pieces can fly all over and maybe start a fire? That's why they're recalling, right? Well, they've been recalled already. And as I'm always warning people, this recall stuff, a lot of it is a load of baloney. They recalled it and they said they fixed it, in quotation marks, with the software update. Now, the problem is, these are all standard transmission vehicles, so the clutch plates can overheat inside the clutch and then break and explode and throw shrapnel all over the place, right? And their original fix was, well, a software update for sensors. And what a line of baloney. You have a physical clutch. You step on the clutch pedal, the clutch springs are opened so you can shift gears, right? This is all physical stuff, mechanical parts. But their fix was a software update. Well, guess what? They're too cheap to fix it, right? Maybe they'll have to. Now, who knows? Maybe they'll try another software update because it's such baloney. The reason they don't want to fix it physically is because the clutch plates are inside. Between the engine and the transmission, they bolt onto the engine flywheel, right? In order to replace those parts, you got to pull the transmission off or take the engine out of the vehicle. It would cost them so much money to do that they're holding, oh, we'll fix it with the software. You can't fix a physical problem with the software update. And they tried it, and it's not working. They're still blowing up. Here's what they did, and I quote, I can't believe this. We added software to reduce engine torque capability when the clutch assembly temperatures rise to a level that may damage the inner pressure plate. Okay, they know the pressure plate isn't working right? Software isn't going to fix that, right? It's a physical part. You have to replace it. But, they don't want to have to pull all those engines and transmissions out. After all, they called back 69,000 Wranglers and Gladiators. That's a lot of work on 69,000 vehicles. Now, Jeep says they're still working on a remedy. Yeah, I got the remedy. I would have told you remedy in the first place. Take them all apart and put better clutch plates in them, right? But that's too much work, and they don't want to do that. It just goes to show what I've been saying for years. Jeep quality is crap. And ever since Fiat bought them, it's been going downhill, then Stellantis even further downhill. And then they try to fix a mechanical problem with a software update on a manual transmission. It's not like it's an automatic transmission. You can change the shift points by the computer software, right? This is a standard. You're shifting it yourself with your hand. Anybody that would think that would have fixed it is an idiot. And they're just trying to slide it through, and Jeep says, well, we don't know how to fix it yet. Yeah, I know how to fix it. Take them out and put better clutch plates in. But they don't want to have to do all that work. It would cost them a fortune. U.S. Army engineer vet says, my rear windows won't roll down or up. Got 2015 Ram. None of my back windows will work. I tried to roll them down from the driver's door switch, the switch on the doors, and they wouldn't work. But the front ones work. Hell. Okay, well, realize that it's not a fuse or anything because the fuse works all four windows, right? So you got a problem with the back ones. And I have seen this often happen. They will stick because people often don't use the back windows on a truck. They just stay up most of the time, right? So what you want to do is this. Start the truck. They're rolled up, right? You said they don't go up or down. They're just up. Push the window switch down, the driver, and have a friend open and close, slam those doors. And if they do slam them and they start working, get some silicone spray and spray the runners in front and back of the windows where they ride up and down those rubber parts. And it might just need a lubrication because they're stuck. I've seen that all the time because people don't use the rear ones all that much. Let's say you slam them, they work, you spray them, but then they stick again. That's a sign that the motors are starting to wear out. Or the motor regulator assembly is binding, in which case you'd have to replace the whole thing on each side. But try the lubrication trick with slamming them, and if it does work, lubricate them, and you might find that's fine. That happens to my wife's Lexus all the time. We don't use the rear windows all that much. So they'll stick, and I'll slam the door, then they work, and then I spray silicone, then they work for a year or two. Then I got to spray them again because they kind of stick. Hey, Beth says, I think I have problems with my 2015 Nissan Altima CVT. The engine module and tranny module reprogrammed when it had less than 45,000 miles. But it shudders when I accelerate 10 to 25. I'm worried the CVT is going out. I'm the second owner, and it now has 112,000 miles. Nissan says their extended warranty due to the CVT lawsuit expired at 84,000 miles. Any suggestions? What should I do? Thanks. Okay, my first suggestion would be you should have never bought a Nissan with a CVT. They're garbage, right? Well, you're pretty much screwed. There's Nissan and their warranties, right? Well, you got too many miles for the warranty. We built those transmissions like crap, but the warranty ends at 84,000. That's an extended warranty that they gave, right? That shows how all this stuff is a bunch of crap. When they go to court and they lose and they say, okay, we'll extend our warranty. Yeah, and then they extend the warranty to mileage that most of the vehicles on the road already have more than. That thing is what? It's 8 years old. Most 8-year-old cars, hey, they're going to have a lot more than 84,000 miles on them, and they know them. They don't have to fix them for free. You're screwed. The problem is, it would cost so much money to fix it. It's not worth fixing. And you said it's been going on for a couple of years. I'd just keep driving until the wheels fell off. Justin Lopez, 2001 says, I'm upset about a check engine light. I had my coolant and tranny fluids changed to Grease Monkey, and I was happy thinking, oh good, now it's fixed. But now my check engine light's popped on. I'm upset about it. I spent $300, and now the light's on. Help. All right, well, I don't know what they did. What you got to start out with is get your check engine light scanned. You can go to any auto parts store. They'll scan them free, right? Get the code, send me the code, and you can ask the guys at the store what's going on. Sometimes when they take things off, they don't put all the wires on. They might have knocked a sensor off and just has to be plugged in. You never know. Now, let's say you said they put a coolant and transmission fluids. Well, maybe they didn't put enough coolant. Then it's going to have a problem with that. The sensors are going to know that. Or maybe too much fluid in the tranny or too much. I don't know what they did wrong. But you got to get the code analyzed and start there. And pray maybe they just knocked off a wire. That's why, I advise people, it's not a good idea to go to these chain stores. The guys working there generally don't get paid that much. When I was in Houston, the oil change joints, they got a lot of guys that just got out of prison working there. They'd hire anybody. So I'd be real leery about taking any of my vehicles to any of those chain stores because the people working there doing the actual work, they're not the greatest in the world. Pod Castillo says, how can I fix transmission shudder? Well, your easiest try is to take a quart of transmission fluid out, put in anti-shudder. There's various companies that make anti-shudder stuff. I found the Lucas one often works pretty good. You put that in, you give it 200-300 miles of driving and pray it fixes it. Now, if it doesn't, then either your torque converter is going out, and that can cause shuddering, and many cars are known for torque converter problems that make them shudder, but then you got to pull the transmission off, put a new torque converter, costs an awful lot of money. Sometimes it's just the fluid that's worn. You put the anti-shudder additives, cleans it out. It's worth a try. I mean, I'd try that and pray. Now, if that doesn't work, you're best to find a guy like me with a fancy scan tool, and we can check with our machine. Okay, is it the torque converter that's making the shudder? We can see what the slippage is on our machine, or it's the transmission itself, and you need a very expensive rebuild. Before you do anything that far, have a guy like me at least check it out and show you the data on the machine. Look, your torque converter is out, or no, that's working fine, so it's your tranny, and how much do you want to spend on this thing? Larry Loddick says, can I get rid of air on my '07 power steering pump without a vacuum pump? Well, sure. Here's how you can get rid of it in almost any car. Jack the front end of your car up in the air. Jack it up on blocks or jack stands so your wheels are free. And then just sit there with the engine running and turn it left all the way, right all the way. Do that like 25 times. And that should purge all the air out of the car. I've been doing that for years. Guy told me that trick when I was a kid. And it works pretty good for most cars. Jack it up. Both wheels off the ground, back. You don't want to do it on the ground because you can wear things out and the tires are sitting there. You want to do it up in the air so there's less strain and then the bubbles will come out better. Stephen Kuko said, mice ate my knock sensor. How do I get rid of them? Get a cat. Now, believe it or not, I found this works pretty good. There are ultrasonic machines you can buy that make noises that drive the mice nuts, and you can hook them up to your battery. They use hardly any power at all. Now, originally, I thought, well, that's a bunch of bunk. That crap doesn't work. So I tried one out in my house in Houston because it was full of holes. A lot of clay in Houston houses, about 20-degree angle. They all sneak in. They live behind the walls. Well, I plugged it in, and I will be damned, the mice went away. So I thought, well, it must work. Then a short time later, a company sent me these ultrasonic headphones and a listening device called the Marksman. And I put it on, and lo and behold, when I stuck it next to these machines, you'd hear the ultrasonic sounds like the mice do, and they go, they have to go up and down and oscillate, because I guess the mice can get used to but not and it chases them away. Get one of those and it will probably chase them away. I've had really good luck with that stuff. The big boy says, Scotty, any sort of recommendation working on a used Chrysler 2.5 TBI engine, trying to get my 86 Dodge Lancer as my daily driver. My advice is get another car. That's one of the worst engines that Chrysler ever made. They were rolling piles of crap. And I had so many people back in the day with those where they blew up, they burnt oil like mad. They're terrible. A Dodge Lancer is a terrible car, and you want to use it as daily driver. That's a mistake. The money you would put in that car, you'd be better out going and buying a 30-year-old Toyota Corolla or old Honda Civic and driving it and fixing it as stuff break, if it did break, than you are putting money into that thing that's one of the worst engines ever made. You'll spend a fortune fixing it, and you'll just have an old junky engine that you fixed, and it's not something like, oh, I'll go get a used one in a junkyard. They're all junk. And if it's in a junkyard, it's double junk. So I'd say just start over with a different vehicle. Sometimes it's better to cut your loss and get something better than keep throwing money into an endless money pit. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.